by the Montana Television Network. Montana This Morning continues on Montana's news leader.
A severe storm stomps across the south, leaving widespread damage. I'm Hanadoba with a look at the aftermath and where the storm is heading now.
I'm Adair Stab. Coming up, I take you to City Hall for the State of the City address.
Good morning, Southwest Montana. 6:29 on this Tuesday. Our top story this morning, one person hurt in an explosion at a FedEx facility northeast of San Antonio, Texas. First reports of the blast came in around 1:30 a.m. this morning. Alcohol, tobacco, firearms, FBI agents were at the scene. One agent told CBS News that it was more than possible that the package that exploded was related to the 4 explosions that have injured people in Austin, Texas. Relatives of workers at the facility say employees are not allowed to leave while authorities continue to investigate that blast. Also, the first day of spring, bringing with it some extreme weather in parts of the south. Forecasters say this could be the most widespread severe weather ever since last summer, and it's on the heels of potentially for yet another snow-filled nor'easter for the nation's northeast. CBS Hanadoba has the latest this morning from New York.
Watch this windshield begin to crack and buckle as it gets pummeled by baseball-sized hail in Cullman County, Alabama. Severe storms are bringing scenes like this throughout the south as it sweeps in with not just hail, but also heavy winds, rain, and tornadoes.
In the blink of an eye. I mean, it's just so quick, and that's what we try to tell everybody to get prepared. These come out of nowhere.
There are reports of tornadoes touching down in Jacksonville, Alabama, where this church was decimated. In nearby Southside, the owners of this house say they were huddled inside, just waiting for the high winds to pass.
My ears were popping, and a ton of trees fell down, 2 trees on the house.
I grabbed them kids and I threw them in a closet and just held them. And it seemed like minutes, but I know it was seconds, and it just felt like it was sucking the house apart.
Residents of Ardmore on the border with Tennessee say the town is littered with trees, power lines, and pieces of what used to be homes.
It's a mess. It's a war zone in there.
Forecasters warn the storm could threaten more than 29 million people as it makes its way towards Georgia, Florida, and the Carolinas. Hanadoba, CBS News.
And as Hannah said, just as this storm starts to die down, another system will be making its way to the northeast. That one predicted to bring the 4th nor'easter to the area this month. And for us, Matt, beautiful out this morning. A little cloud cover kept the temperatures a little on the warmer side. I love it.
It's mild for now.
Spring.
It is, and we're just gonna start dealing with some spring runoff here pretty soon, especially toward the end of the week as we start to pick up our next little batch of moisture. Daytime highs today should be warming up nicely, especially with the morning lows hovering right around the mid-20s to low 30s. For most of the area. We should be into the 40s today, still a little on the cool side, but we have kind of a messy forecast, especially as you get into your Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Your complete forecast, of course, coming up in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Matt. Now 6:32 on this Tuesday. President Trump announced his plan to combat the opioid crisis in New Hampshire yesterday, a state at the center of the epidemic. Congress recently appropriated $6 billion to fight the crisis, and now we're getting a breakdown of how the administration hopes to spend it. It's also the first time President Trump has visited the state since he won the election, a critical stop on the 2020 political map. CNN's Karen Kafa reports this morning from Washington.
President Trump unveiling his plan to tackle the opioid crisis in New Hampshire Monday.
This scourge of drug addiction in America will stop.
It's a state hit especially hard by the epidemic.
The death rate is double the national average.
The president's plan focuses on 3 areas: law enforcement, prevention and education, and improving the ability to fund treatment through the federal government. It also includes stiffer penalties for high-intensity drug traffickers, with a controversial move to seek the death penalty for some drug dealers.
If we don't get tough on the drug dealers, we're wasting our time.
Some treatment advocates oppose the idea, saying there is no way the U.S. can punish its way out of the epidemic. The plan also includes a federally backed anti-opioid advertising campaign, a collaboration between the president and First Lady. Today marks the first time Trump has visited the Granite State since he won the presidency. He and other 2016 presidential candidates discussed the epidemic at length on the campaign trail.
We will not only stop the drugs from pouring in, but we will help all of those people so seriously addicted.
And while today's stop is an official trip, there's a political optic not lost on those thinking about the 2020 elections. New Hampshire's first in the nation primary makes it a key state for a re-election bid. Republican Senator Jeff Flake of Arizona not ruling out a primary challenge was there Friday. And another potential GOP opponent, John Kasich, is there next month. In Washington, I'm Karen Kaifa.
In other headlines this morning, a top staffer for U.S. Interior Secretary Ryan Zinke says she was assaulted last week by an operative for a left-leaning political action committee in Washington, D.C. U.S. Capitol Police Monday filed a simple assault charge against the man for an incident involving Zinke's spokeswoman, Heather Swift. Reports said the man, Wilford Stark, had approached Zinke after a U.S. House hearing last Thursday, started yelling at him. Swift told MTN News yesterday that Stark came up behind her and shoved her aside as he tried to get to Secretary Zinke. She called the incident terrifying. The man was working for American Bridge. That's a PAC that supports Democrats and has been critical of Zinke. American Bridge told the Associated Press that Stark adamantly denies the allegations. Stark faces a court hearing on March 30th in District of Columbia's Superior Court. Closer to home, Mayor Cindy Andrus discussed Bozemans' future last night. Medeiros Babb was at City Hall and fills us in on what she said.
Mayor Cindy Andrus started off the state of the city with the positive qualities Bozeman offers its citizens.
Bozeman continues to be a great place to live and work and to raise a family. We are the envy of so many communities in the Rocky Mountain West.
She praised the city's growth, partnering with Bozeman Health, and the workforce supplied to local businesses through MSU and Gallatin College.
These students, just over 18,000 strong, inspire us, encourage us to do better, and add a vibrancy to our community.
However, the address was not all positive. Andrus made it clear that the city still has a lot of work to do. She said that the city needs a new police station, fire station, and new municipal courts.
We need to be looking to the future. We need to be relevant. And if we're going to be relevant, then we're going to be a little bit uncomfortable.
Andrus said the city's other priorities are towards improving its strategic plan, bringing in more fiber optics, and creating affordable housing. The last topic Andrus focused on was making sure the city's culture is not left behind. She plans on keeping the art scene alive by integrating an art program funded by the city.
Now, Medeiros also tells us that Mayor Andrus ended the commission meeting by asking the community to not be afraid of the rapid growth Bozeman has seen, but rather to embrace it. Also, law enforcement in Butte made 23 arrests related to St. Patrick's Day celebrations during this past weekend. Police made the arrests in the Uptown area between Friday evening and early Sunday morning. St. Patrick's Day fell on a Saturday this year and brought thousands of people uptown for the celebration. There was a total of 7 driving under the influence arrests, a few arrests for misdemeanor offenses. Police say crowds were very well behaved this year.
They've seen how we walk the parade routes or walk the routes in Uptown Butte, and they know. They just behave. They either take rides home, they prepare to come up here. Majority, 99.9% of the people that come up are up here for a good time, and that's what they have.
Now, we're told Butte Police added that they had made more arrests last year. They made 27 arrests at St. Patrick's Day last year. Also, more than 100 middle school students turned mathematics into some serious competition in Butte yesterday. MTN's John Amy tells us about the Math Count State competition going on at Montana Tech.
28 is correct. Well done.
Who says math isn't fun?
I tell kids if they love video games, they should love math because they're solving problems.
More than 100 middle school students were solving problems at the Math Count State competition at Montana Tech in Butte. These were the top finishers in all the local competitions earlier this year.
So this is truly the best and brightest math kids in the state of Montana. And so we have 103 students here today, all the way from Glasgow to Kalispell.
And the competition was intense.
Similar to the Jeopardy game where you flash a problem up on the screen and whoever buzzes in quickest gets the answer.
So the competition is played in sort of a game show style format, and the participants say it is quite challenging.
A lot harder than the other ones in chapter back in Billings. More difficult. I like it so far. It's really fun, actually.
So there you have it. Math is fun. In Butte, John Amy, MTN News.
By the way, John tells us 4 top finishers in this competition will go on to the Nationals in Washington, D.C. That competition coming up in May. We're going to take a quick break here on Montana This Morning. When we come back, we'll introduce you to a man whose artistic passion burns white hot. We have that in our weekly Montana Made segment. But first, here's John Dickerson with a quick look at what's ahead on CBS This Morning.
Good morning. Ahead on CBS This Morning, we're on scene just outside of San Antonio, Texas, with the breaking news of a new package explosion at a FedEx facility. Why investigators say it could be linked to bombings in Austin. Plus, David Begnaud returns to Puerto Rico 6 months after Hurricane Maria. Why it's taking so long to restore power to many people who are struggling to survive. See you at 7.